Dana,
Good
great to
morning.
have
How
you
you
here.
doing?
Wow, man, huh? Gold. I'm
Right?
gonna have to play the movie Goldfinger. He loves only gold. He only loves gold. Gold,
All
gold, gold. Huh? What do you think?
right. Let me share here.
Hey, I wanted to ask you a question here,
Yes,
Dana. I
sir.
mean, you've been around as probably, well, no one's been around longer than Noah like me, but uh, have you ever seen a time period when you've had this kind of run in the dollar and the metals at the same time? I mean, I've seen it with gold before, but not with
Yeah,
silver. DSI on this stuff, which is a sentiment gauge, is they're all
yeah,
in the mid 80s.
yeah.
Um, what do you think it means?
Maybe it's some sort of a flight to safety. I'm not sure.
Okay.
What I like to avoid kind of I know a lot of the forex community. That's the whole game is figuring out the intermarket analysis. I try to avoid that.
Well,
Um,
you're
just
smart to.
read our
Yeah,
signs, and because relationships change,
they
correlations
do.
change,
Yeah,
and as soon as put your eggs in one basket, that might change. And for
yeah,
us, in my opinion, is it's hard enough to figure out where one asset's going, let alone one asset based on what another asset is doing. So we try to keep it a little bit more simple. So, but gold, I mean, have you hardly ever seen a nicer looking chart? Obviously, um, had that kind of cup and handle,
yeah.
modified cup and handle. We basically based for 4 years before the breakout. So beautiful looking chart. I don't know the extent of the upside, but it's probably considerable. Probably getting close to some exhaustion points here in the short term, but it looks great. And
You
as
long
I said,
miners on
yeah,
that?
long miners. We've been, pardon me, been long miners, more or less as like a call option because they've been
Yeah.
terrible. But our thought has been once gold does break out, which we expected, it should lift all boats. So gold GDX could get through all this resistance pretty quickly, approaching that 36 resistance. Also, silver miners, silvers running today. Um, Junior silver miners approaching
Yeah.
12 would be big, but again, gold keeps going. We could get through this resistance pretty quickly on the miners, which is why we held on to the position. Um,
Okay.
Typically, when these moves happen, they happen quickly, so it's hard to kind of react to it. The biggest one, best one's been the copper miners. We're up, testing all-time highs on COPEX, or at least a decade highs
Yeah.
on COPEX. So
That looks like gold before it broke out.
a little bit, yeah. So maybe some consolidation here at the former highs.
Hmm.
Looks good for a breakout and a run higher. So yeah,
Commodities,
across the board,
commodities.
yeah, commodities across the board have obviously shining. So I guess the death of inflation was greatly exaggerated. We like this ETF PPI as a kind of a proxy for inflation. And
Wow.
obviously that broke out. It gave us a nice heads up a couple months ago. That's running higher. So yeah, across the board, you got the precious metals complex. Um,
We have
Energy's
higher
been
readings
a
now
little
than
bit better.
we have higher readings now than when the Fed started its tightening campaign.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. So
Yeah.
our job as money managers to make money on that. So
Yeah.
the commodity stuff is running. Stocks are still in decent shape according to our models, according to our data. So not surprising to see, a bit of a pause. We've got, the S&P hit that 127 extension. I was looking the other day. I think since October, there's been two down weeks before last week. So not surprising to see a little bit of a pause. at least in the large cap stuff. Nasdaq 100 hit that 127. The Dow, same thing, hit the 127. So not surprising to see that. Also, some of the broader indices, the value line geometric tracks the median stock in the market, hit that 61 retracement. So, like I said, not surprising to see a pause. Our stuff doesn't indicate that it's anything more than, a pause,
Okay.
a temporary consolidation. Because
How
you're
about this?
seeing,
How about this pullback in TLT, which I think is now retraced about 61.8 of the
yeah,
rally that it had from last October?
yeah. So bond market, we think we bottomed in 2020 in yield.
Right.
I think we
Yeah.
go up for several decades to come. Doesn't mean we go in a straight line. A big line in the sand is 4% on the 10-year, which we're holding above. That
Right.
being said, there was huge volume in the fourth quarter during that rally. I would not be surprised to see another maybe a C wave down in yields and rally in prices. We're buying yesterday the 10-year and the 30-year as we hit up against that 61 retracement from the top in yield. So, uh,
Interesting.
pardon me, getting
What's
over a
wrong, bro?
virus, getting
Uh,
over a virus here.
yeah,
Four
COVID.
percent. We break that though. We could be back down at like 3.25 pretty quickly. Like I said, I think we go up for decades, but it's not a straight line. I would not be surprised to see another rally in bonds pull back in yields before the next major
How do you
low is in place.
reconcile that with the pressure of commodity prices?
Again, I try not to.
Okay, yeah,
You're
yeah,
gonna correlation's gonna change, relationship's gonna change.
yeah,
Something there might be forces stronger than the commodity prices that come along and exert that pressure on bonds. So I don't mind being long bonds and commodities at the same time. Just like I heard your conversation about the dollar and gold. Don't mind
yeah,
being long both if they're both working. So
yeah.
yeah, I try not to reconcile
Okay, all
it.
right. Yeah.
So
I was just thinking maybe it
yeah,
would be risk off for correction in S&Ps, but as an individual, if we take out the S&Ps, if you go to a weekly,
yeah,
this is 2 down weeks, and this low that we held in the S&Ps this week around 51 and a half is a big area for me.
yeah.
I had a 9 day that it was holding. I don't know what moving average your blue dotted line
Well, the
is, but
blues, the 20-day, yeah.
okay.
So if
So
you put on a weekly, yeah,
yeah, okay, because the 9 day is right there,
up there, yeah,
right there.
yeah. Well,
So
you look at the large caps. Obviously, there's room to go lower if there wants to in the short term. Our models, our data doesn't suggest that there's anything that there's a
yeah,
top is imminent, or this is the top. Um,
yeah,
our stuff is still strong enough that I think
but
we can
yeah, I
weather a
know.
short-term pullback and keep going because you've seen. Um, I showed the value line geometric. You look at the arithmetic, which tracks the average stock in the market. There's been a couple developments recently that don't happen at major tops, including the arithmetic average going to all-time highs. All right, so we have the average stock just hit all-time highs. Um, you look at the advanced decline line, got it up here somewhere. Uh,
Okay,
the AD line moving to all-time highs. This stuff doesn't happen coincident with major tops. So a pause, pullback, sure. We don't see any evidence of a major top at hand though. Here's the equal weight S&P 500 also went to all-time highs. pulling back, testing that breakout point.
Did we, does your memory serve you well enough to know if it was a similar setup before the COVID crash? Weren't we confirming a lot of things before the COVID crash?
Yeah,
Where that,
we definitely. That's kind of that's a bit of an outlier. So you can have a short term, but that that was uh, God forbid we have another pandemic like that. But that was uh, yeah, it was very painful. It was kind of a fake out.
yeah.
It was a counter trend move that ended up obviously righting itself pretty quickly after some obviously some
Oh,
extreme
huge
short-term
break.
pain. Yeah,
Yeah.
but we ended up moving back in the direction of the trend. So you could get something um, on a smaller scale
Okay.
similar to that, but as far as a significant or major top, I don't see the conditions in place right now for
Yeah.
that.
Okay. Were you in the business in 79, last century?
Um, Not exactly.
Okay. What were you doing?
Uh, let's see. I think I was in kindergarten. So
You were what? In
I
kindergarten?
was in kindergarten, I believe, at the time.
Okay. So
But my
how were
my
you
father
how
was
were your
making my father was making me chart. So I was charting
with,
manually at the time. Yeah.
with what? Watercolors?
Oh
Temper
no,
paints?
no.
Huh?
I had my graphing paper already, and
In kindergarten?
I probably.
Okay. Anyway, so do you agree with this comment that every major recession happens with an oil shock?
Uh, I don't
Most?
know that. Yeah, I'd have to think about that one.
Okay.
Not sure.
Okay. Uh, I
I
think
know it
that,
did in the '70s. Sure.
yeah,
I have studied the '70s,
yeah.
even though I was in kindergarten at the time.
And the recession we had in the early 80s was based upon
Yeah,
an oil problem with Iran. I mean, the same
yeah, yeah,
country that, you know,
yeah,
uh, do you think
yeah.
they're
So
going?
oil's an issue for sure.
Yeah,
It's creeping back up, and the VIX, the VIX is
yeah,
telling us something's going on right now.
right.
So we could see obviously the benefit of doubt to the upside right now in the VIX. So maybe this little short term pause
Yeah,
consolidation is not over. I
right.
could see, especially in the large
Dow.
caps, I could see certainly some more softness. So I
Yeah.
would not be piling in that. Another thing we've seen though is the breadth of,
Europe.
yeah, I was going to say the breadth of international markets that have been working. Whether it's okay, Germany's pulling back, but Germany's at all-time highs.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
across the board, a lot of Netherlands, France. We're seeing strong charts around the world. So it's not just the U.S. It's just like the U.S. Like last summer, for example, on a smaller scale. It was just the Magnificent Seven or whatever. Got the rally got very thin. We're not we're
yeah.
not at that point right now in the U.S. and then around the world. We're not at that point. We've got no shortage of markets around the world that are working. India, has been great. Obviously, Japan has been great. Um,
Yeah. Still long
just
Japan.
challenging all-time highs, especially on a hedge basis. So here's hedge Japan, which has been going bonkers for a long time. So it gave us a good heads up that the dollar strength, I guess. So
Okay.
that's been going nuts. Hedge Europe has been in the same boat, um, kind of up on a rope. Um, so it doesn't mean you have to chase it up here, but still in a strong position. Um,
Okay.
Even smaller countries. Argentina has been working great for us. So no shortage of a breadth of
Yep.
markets out there that are working. So that just puts a foundation, under the rally where typically you see these pieces fall off the table, and you see this rally thin out before you're really vulnerable to a major top.
Okay. Really nice work. Yeah. I'm glad. Thanks for joining us when you don't feel 100%, Jamie.
No, I'm good. I'm just recovering, but
Okay.
I'm good to
Uh,
go.
and I've asked you most of what I, was curious about on your work. What else? Is there anything else you'd like to cover?
Yeah, you talk about energy. All
Yeah.
right, if oil's going to be a problem, all right, make some money off of it, either long oil or long energy stocks.
Yeah.
Which you know, energy after a brilliant run into 2022 has kind of took the rally off last year, right? As it consolidated that move. Now breaking out. Here's XLE breaking out. Bumping up against those 2014 highs, but just broke out above the highs of the last couple of years. Another one up here, this Global Energy IXC, similar story. So, yeah, kind of consolidating that rally into 2022. Nice breakout. So, again, our job as managers to make money. So no matter what's going on, so those are the conditions. Take advantage of conditions. Oil's strong. The metals are strong. Take advantage of those.
I saw you had some Tech-REAM ETFs up there. Are you starting to consider grains?
Grains, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? We've been on. We've been on this DBA for a while, which has been going bonkers.
Yeah.
Shows no sign of slowing down. Grains have been tough, but I think maybe a sign, maybe a chance of a major low in here. If you look at corn, for example,
Yeah.
hitting some key fib lines.
Yeah.
Um,
78.6 back there.
yeah.
Yeah.
So most commodities in our uptrends. A couple others that are interesting here, like the grains. Um, maybe a chance at some key lows here. So typically we're relative strength managers, so we're going to go
Okay.
in those areas that are
You
working.
still like uranium? I see
Still like
uranium up there.
uranium. Yep,
Okay.
like uranium. Uranium miners.
Yeah.
They had a nice move. They've consolidated as well. Back above some key pivot levels, so opens up further upside from here. Uranium is going to hold 29, plenty of
Yeah.
upside to go. Same thing with the uranium miners. So really across the board, almost in the commodity space. So again, if there's going to be inflation issues, take advantage of it, make money off of it. It's gonna if your dollar is going to be eroded, then you might as well make money on this side.
But the dollar isn't showing signs of that. Do you
And the
think that
dollar, yeah, sure, but
do you,
commodity
you think
prices are
this
going.
is a rally to sell in the dollar?
Uh, Dollar's tricky for me. I mean, it's kind of middle of the road. It's been in a trading range for a while. I wouldn't short it right now. I
Yeah.
certainly would not short it.
Okay.
Um, do I see a compelling setup to be long? Not necessarily. I'd rather
Okay.
be long things hitting new highs.
Got you. Best place for people to follow you, and I hope you get better soon, Dana.
Thank you, sir.
Uh,
Yeah, let me see if I can figure this out. Okay. All right. You can find me at the Lion's Share. We talk about our main business is
oh, I see my old apartment to the left.
Marina Towers.
Yeah, I lived there
Yeah.
when I went back with a seat. Yeah.
Okay. That's a good spot.
I asked for Bob Newhart's apartment.
Did you?
Remember, he lived there too.
Yeah.
The
My
Bob
brother
Miller
lived
show.
there for a while. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
So we've got an RIA where we manage money. We also started this trader service called the Lion's Share, where basically I tell you what we're looking at, what we're doing, moves we're making. You pull the trigger yourself. But if you want to know what we're doing, things, the charts we're looking at, what our models are saying, pretty much we give it to you. You just got to pull the levers. So you can find me here.
really appreciate talking to you, buddy. The Cubs or White Sox have a promising season ahead of them.
Well, I'm a Cubbies fan, the North Side, but
Yeah.
as soon as I start believing, they pull the rug out. You know how it is.
Yeah, I sure do.
Glass,
Yeah.
glass. Ever since 1984, they ripped my heart out. So I'm a glass half
Well,
empty Cubs fan. I'll
yeah,
believe it when I see it.
I look, I was there for the 69 fold to the
Yep,
Mets.
yep.
So anyway, great talking to you. And you've been coming on and we've been talking for several years now, Dana. You realize that?
Yeah.
It's been a
Well,
while.
more than several years, really. Yeah. So I appreciate you having me on.
Do,
So
does it
it's a
go
good.
back to does it go back to FX Street before I was here? That that would be,
I want to say it's
over
10 years ago. Anyway.
okay, yeah. So that's because we've been doing phase for 6, 7
Okay.
now.
So it must be.
So I just want to let you know that, and thank you for coming in and edifying the community every quarter, so that you give clear, concise analysis. You're right a lot. You gave a pearl today that I have throughout my career. I have to remind myself is treat each chart like it's an individual entity instead of trying to turn it into a jigsaw puzzle to get all the pieces to fit. That's something people should write down. Trade everything like it has its own personality,
That's right.
and that's a great reminder for me. So thank you, Dana, my trading
You
mortar
got it.
brother, for
Thank you for
hanging
having
out.
me on again. Yeah, it's always fun to be on. You got a great community, a lot of smart people on here, listeners as well as moderators, and
Yeah.
you're a great coach to lead the team. So I appreciate it. Always fun talking to you.
All right. Dana Lyons, everybody. And on X, you could find him at J Lyons Management, Fund Management. Okay. And there's his website. Check him out. All right, Dana, have a great weekend, partner.
Thanks, brother. Take care.
All right. All right. That's a wrap for me this week. Hope we added some value to what you're trying to accomplish. Has a really nice lineup of guests this week. Hope you enjoyed the interviews and the half hour of the team batting the ball around. And God willing, I'll see you next week. Adios, everyone. Don't just count your pips, count your blessings. I'll see you.
Hey traders, this is Blake Morrow with ForexAnalytix. Thanks for stopping by our YouTube channel. Don't forget to like these videos, share them, and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of the content that we provide here for free. Thanks for stopping by. I'll see you in the next video.